Basic grammar rules. English sentence structure. Hello. I just got my hair cut, so today is a good day to talk about basic grammar rules, English sentence structure. How are English sentences put together? Depending on your native language, you may find English sentence structure simple or quite difficult. Some languages put sentences together much like English does, but others are very different in this regard. In this video, we'll look at some common elements of English sentence structure. If you find these ideas difficult, don't worry. As your English improves, you'll learn to recognize these patterns, and this will give you a deeper understanding of not only English, but also your own language. Let's get started. Rule number 1. A complete sentence must include a noun and a verb. The bird flew. A complete sentence must include a noun and a verb. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. A verb is an action word. Example: the bird flew. In this sentence, the noun is bird and the verb is flew. Rule number 2. A complete sentence must include a subject and a predicate. The angry bird flew quickly across the sky. A complete sentence must include a subject and a predicate. The subject refers to the person, place, or thing that the sentence is about. The predicate describes the subject or what the subject is doing. In "the bird flew," the subject is the bird and the predicate is flew. As the sentence gets more complicated, it becomes more clear how subject and predicate are different from noun and verb. Example: the angry bird flew quickly across the sky. In this sentence, the subject is the angry bird and the predicate is flew quickly across the sky. A noun is just one word. A verb is just one or two words, but the subject and predicate may have several words. Again, the subject is what the sentence is about, the thing in the sentence that is carrying out an action. The predicate describes what the subject is doing or undergoing, or what it is like. Rule number 3. The only exception to the above rules is the imperative sentence. Go away. The only exception to the above rules is the imperative sentence. This is a sentence type in which the speaker instructs or commands the person to whom they are speaking. In this type of sentence, only the predicate is required. Example: go away. This is a complete sentence with a predicate and no subject. In an imperative sentence, the subject is implied. It is the person being instructed. The example above means you must go away. Rule number 4. Adjectives can go directly before the noun they describe, or after it if separated by a verb. The angry bird flew. The bird is angry. Adjectives generally go directly before the noun they describe, but you can use a linking verb to write a whole sentence where the adjective describes the noun. Let's see how this works. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. Example, the angry bird. When the adjective is in the subject part of the sentence, it goes directly before the noun. Example, the angry bird flew. The subject here is the angry bird, and it includes both the noun bird and the adjective angry, which describes it. You can also put an adjective after a linking verb. Is, looks, and seems are common ones. This is called a predicate adjective or subject complement. Example, the bird is angry. In this example, the subject is the bird and the predicate is angry. The predicate consists of the verb is and the adjective angry. Rule number 5. A compound subject includes two or more simple subjects. The bird and the plane flew. What happens if your sentence has two subjects? We call this a compound subject. Compound subjects are created through the use of conjunctions. Conjunctions are connecting words like and, or, and but. Example, the bird and the plane flew. Rule number 6. A compound predicate includes two or more predicates. The bird flew and sang. You can also use a compound predicate with two or more predicates. The bird flew and sang. This sentence contains one simple subject and two simple predicates. Rule number 7. A compound sentence includes more than one subject or predicate. The bird sang and the plane flew. If you have a compound subject or a compound predicate, or both, your sentence is called a compound sentence. A compound sentence may also consist of multiple independent clauses. The bird and the plane flew and the bird flew and sang are both compound sentences because they each have more than one subject or more than one predicate. A compound sentence does not require a compound subject or a compound predicate, however. Example, the bird sang and the plane flew. This example of a compound sentence does not include a compound subject or compound predicate. Instead, it consists of two independent clauses. What is an independent clause? Rule number 8. An independent clause consists of a subject and a predicate, like a complete sentence. The plane flew. An independent clause consists of a subject and a predicate, like a complete sentence. You can separate it from the rest of the sentence and it will still form a complete sentence. In the sentence, the bird sang and the plane flew, the independent clause, the bird sang, is connected to the independent clause, the plane flew, by the conjunction and. Both the bird sang and the plane flew are complete sentences. Rule number 9. A dependent clause cannot form a complete sentence without additional words. When the bird sang. A dependent clause cannot form a complete sentence without additional words. A clause is any phrase which includes a noun and a verb. Not all phrases which include a noun and a verb are complete sentences or even independent clauses. Dependent clauses often contain words like because, which, that, or when. In fact, it is often the addition of these words that causes the clause to be dependent. Example, the plane flew when the bird sang. In this sentence, when the bird sang is a dependent clause. As seen above, the bird sang is an independent clause. It contains a subject and predicate and can stand alone as a complete sentence. However, when the bird sang is not an independent clause. The phrase makes sense only with additional information and additional words, which is why it's called dependent. What happened when the bird sang? The plane flew. Rule number 10. The direct object is the noun being acted on by the verb. The bird ate seeds. If your sentence contains a noun being acted on by the verb, we call this noun the direct object. Not all sentences have a direct object. If the verb in your sentence refers back to the noun alone, the bird flew, there is no direct object. But what if the verb shows that the subject is doing something to someone or something? Example, the bird ate seeds. In this sentence, the direct object of the verb ate is seeds. The seeds are the noun that the bird, the subject, is eating. Without the seeds, the bird would be eating nothing. In other words, the bird is acting on the seeds. Rule number 11. An indirect object is a noun indirectly affected by the verb. The bird gave the seeds to me. An indirect object is a noun indirectly affected by the verb. Some verbs can have direct objects and indirect objects. The indirect object is often connected by words such as to, at, or toward. Example, the bird gave the seeds to me. This example has a subject, direct object, and indirect object. The subject is the bird, which is the noun performing the verb gave. The direct object is seeds, which is the object the bird is giving. Without the seeds, the bird would be giving nothing. The indirect object is me, connected to the direct object by the word to. It's not always necessary for the words to be in this order. In fact, this sentence can be formed without the word to and still have the same meaning. Example, the bird gave me the seeds. Though the order of the words has changed, seeds is still the direct object of the verb gave, and me is still the indirect object. Rule number 12. When written in passive voice, the object of the verb becomes the subject of the sentence. The bird ate seeds. The seeds were eaten by the bird. In a passive voice sentence, the object of the verb becomes the subject. Passive voice refers to sentences where the object on which the verb is acting replaces the subject in the sentence's structure. Example, the seeds were eaten by the bird. Rule number 13. Conjugations of the verb to be are essential to passive voice. The seeds are being eaten by the bird. Conjugations of the verb to be are essential to passive voice. Many words are versions or conjugations of the verb to be. Is, are, Was and were are all versions of it, in addition to words you might expect, like be, being, and been. When a conjugation of to be comes before another verb, it is usually an indicator of passive voice. The following example demonstrates how other conjugations of to be could function as the helping verb in the bird seed example. The seed was eaten by the bird. The seeds are being eaten by the bird. The seeds have been eaten by the bird. The seeds had been eaten by the bird. In each of the above example sentences, the meaning is changed by the choice of helping verb, but in all of them, the relationship among object, subject, and verb remains the same. Rule number 14. Sentences written in passive voice can omit the subject of the acting verb. The seeds were eaten. Sentences written in passive voice can omit the subject of the acting verb. Since the sentence has a new subject, you can leave the original subject out. Because the object of the verb eaten has become the subject of the sentence, this is a complete sentence with a subject and predicate. The fact that the subject of the verb eaten has been removed doesn't make the sentence incomplete. Rule number 15. In passive voice, the subject of the acting verb is connected by a prepositional phrase. The plane was flown by the pilot. Passive voice sentences often include a prepositional phrase that gives more information. Prepositions are words that clarify questions like where, when, or which. A prepositional phrase is a phrase that begins with a preposition. Examples: the seeds were eaten before we came home. The seeds were eaten by the bird. Rule number 16. Prepositional phrases are sometimes separated by commas. The bird, after destroying the feeder, ate all the seeds. Prepositional phrases are sometimes set off by commas. When prepositional phrases are moved to the middle or beginning of a sentence, they are separated by commas. The prepositional phrase here, which offers additional information, comes in the middle of the sentence and is separated by commas. Examples: after lunchtime, the bird ate seeds. The bird, after lunchtime, ate seeds. The seeds under the table were eaten by the bird. This sentence features two prepositional phrases. Under the table clarifies where the seeds were, and by the bird clarifies the subject of the verb eaten. Rule number 17. Adverbs function like prepositions. They answer the question, how? The bird ate seeds quickly. Adverbs function like prepositions. Adverbs are descriptive words which answer the question, how? They often end in the suffix ly. The adverb quickly can be moved to the beginning, middle, or end of the sentence in the following example. Example: quickly the bird ate seeds. The bird quickly ate seeds. The bird ate seeds quickly. Each of these sentences means the same thing. Rules about English sentence structure. Some of these may seem difficult, but if you become familiar with these patterns, you will learn not only to understand English better, but also your own language.